What could be more reprehensible than two old farts? Three old farts featuring Dave and Steven and Greg Schapiro with funny ha-ha.
And here we are, live again.
Yeah. Alive and kicking.
How about that? Yeah. Can't complain.
Well, or in Greg's case, alive and pizza eating, it would seem. But there you go.
Yeah.
Well, you know, he's a busy man.
Representing good climate behavior, and my wife has made me some faux tuna salad.
Wow. Wait a minute. When you say faux tuna salad, what's the faux then instead of the tuna?
Chickpeas.
Okay.
It's totally fake. It's not real tuna at all. Believe me, I'm a connoisseur.
Oh my God. Yeah, talking about that. That's coming up next year.
Yeah. Oh well.
Yeah, I know. End of the world as we know it.
And 47. Yeah.
Here's the best part. Mike Pence now threw his hat in, and I'm like, let me get this straight. Paint drying is running for the presidency. And then we've got Ron DeSantis, who is anti everything. Right. So he's worse than Hitler. And then we've got Joe Biden, who they make fun of, but at least he's doing stuff, and we're not at war, and we're not killing each other, and everyone's like, Biden's the worst I'm like, really? No. And they go, Trump inherited a good economy from Obama. Then Trump got to ride the wave, and as the economy was just about to go in the shit tank, pardon my French, Biden became president. So it's not like their fault. I don't think people realize this is like anywhere from a 2 to 5 year cycle. So like if I become president tomorrow, I'm going to inherit something, but it's going to change during my watch. I don't think people get that, which is scary.
Yeah, I have 2 cents on that as well. But you're in like finance, so I was going to ask about your demographic specifically, but
he's just rich.
Yeah, was that? Yeah,
how it goes.
So he doesn't care about poor people. He doesn't know any poor people. For start.
Well, I know Dave.
At least none worth talking about anyway. So.
But here's my question before Greg asks me something on finance. What is your definition of a poor person? Is that like a millionaire? Because I don't understand. Yeah, like if you're a millionaire, you're poor. I mean, it's just the way it is. So
only a million. Oh dear.
Yeah.
There was anyway, but Oh yeah. But David, are you more academia, or how would you define your demographic?
Oh, I'm just poor.
Right.
Well, that's not your demographic. What do you lean towards?
That way. I lean
that way. Okay, good.
I'm representing like expats and writers and comedians, but fine. That's a small demographic. But like expats, Americans living overseas, and what is our perception of the economy or whatever? Like, look, I've seen facts and figures from finance industry. Like when there's Republican presidents, economy, Democrat, Republican. I mean, it's not steady. It's always and is it just timing or luck or bad, whatever? But
it's just the cyclical cycle, and the problem is that people
recession.
Yeah, Clinton, but it's like people don't go to school anymore, right? Like they don't teach them anything. So it's like, what did you learn? What did you learn at school today, Johnny?
Like there's enough facts.
I think that one of the burning questions here would be from Europe is: has Joe Biden learned how to walk? Because every time we ever see him on the TV here, he's fallen over.
He has that.
I don't know if that's because the way that we're supposed to perceive him as being old and frail or whatever. But it's unfortunate that he tries to zip around and look virile, because that's the thing I think which Trump is always having a pop at him. But if he's like me, if he goes too fast down the stairway, he's likely to kiss the pavement when he gets to the bottom.
Oh yeah. But the funny thing is that he's the spokesman when he retires. There's an article, and it must be true because I just made this up. But he's going to be that, the little button you push, help, I can't get up. When he retires, he's going to wear that around his neck, and he's going to do commercials. Help, I can't get up and push that. So I'm looking forward to his retirement. Yeah.
I think.
But Greg, have you noticed that here? Then have you noticed it also in Holland? That's all we seem to see is him
I've
falling
definitely
over.
noticed that the coverage of Joe Biden. Look, I'm a comedian and I do impressions of like politicians. I did my Trump impression for 4 years. Yum yum yum. People couldn't get enough. Then I went to the trouble of getting a Joe Biden impression ready, and there's no recognition factor just because like people hear him.
Well, you're supposed to fall over then. You're supposed to come on the stage and fall over.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But Trump has that New York. Listen, I'm from New York, so I get it. He has that New York swagger, where Joe is from Delaware.
Right.
Okay, good for you. Like people in America don't even know Delaware is a state.
And carry a big tax, rebate.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So come on then, Greg. But before he dies on us, then Joe Biden, give us. Well, he might do.
Okay,
in the middle of this show. So let's have a Joe Biden from you then.
For me, the key to a Joe Biden impression was he's got that raspy voice, kind of like badass Clint Eastwood, like a Dirty Harry, but it's Dirty Harry combined with Mr. Rogers,
Yes.
Like. I just got one question for you. Do you feel lucky? Well, you should, because we live in a great country with freedom. And I know what you're thinking. Did he fire 6 shots or only 5? I lost track myself. I'm an old person. I lose track easily. But that's why I'm proud of you. My daddy used to say, Joey, if you can read more than 3 lines on a teleprompter at a time, you're doing great. That's why I think anytime people are like, oh, Joe Biden's losing it, like, well, maybe his eyesight. Anytime they put something with multiple syllables in a teleprompter, he's like, we need America to respect the law of interdisciplinary. Have you ever read from a teleprompter? Like, it's always a matter of how big do they make the text, and then how can you keep up with the flow?
Right.
If your eyesight isn't so good, you got to go syllable by syllable. Every time he says something like, more than 4 syllables, it should be like ding, 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 confetti cannon.
Oh my God. Well, Reagan used to quote his old movies. Reagan, they did a story on 60 Minutes. I never forgot this. They're like, there's our president losing it. And basically Reagan's talking about where he stood on a ship during World War II and yada, yada, yada. And literally they go to the scene in like, I don't know, Bedtime for Bonzo or whatever movie it was. And he's standing on the ship and the whole seat that he described in his speech is his whole movie. And I was on the floor and I'm like, I'm sure some of it was intentional. I'm sure some of it he just doesn't know. And I was sort of like, but I think if you look at Warren Buffett, he's 90 something years old. He's sharp as a tack. So just age has nothing to do with this. And we just wrote a story about 2 old farts. And it talks about ageism because, once you get over a certain age, people think we're stupid and can't do things. And we know more than most people and do more than most people. And it's interesting, but
I even had a thing today. I went to get a facial.
Whoa, really, Greg? Tell us more.
Oh, yeah. Is it just one of those stores around the corner with a red light outside?
Yeah.
Let's just not refer to terminology here, okay?
Okay.
I talked to a skin advice.
A skin
person.
person.
Gonna go well.
Literally, she was like, "Oh, is that a scar?"
Somebody makes their living out of skin.
What? You were going like pornographic, but let's not get gross.
Yeah,
hey, you live in Amsterdam. Hey, Greg, you live in Amsterdam, mate. So by definition, you smoke a lot of weed and you go to a lot of sex shows. That's that's
fine. I know. Yeah, let's refer to all the stereotypes. God. Yes, I'm part Dutch, part American. So either I'm full of shit or I'm fucking high.
So anyway, you went to a skin. Wait, let me get us back on track. You went to a skin care professional.
I went to a skincare place.
Yes.
As you do when you get older. And we just talked about how, the skin around your eyes just gets darker in color, which makes you look tired. So indeed, the perception of older people is, you're out of it. But no, I feel fine. It's just, I look, anyway, it's, What was the line from the 80s movie? I'm not tired. I'm just drawn this way.
Jessica Rabbit.
Exactly. And that gets back to
she's,
red light district. So we've come there.
she's like, I'm not bad. I'm just drawing this way. So yeah. But yeah,
Anyway, so
it
indeed,
is interesting.
I showed my age there when she's like, "Is this a scar on above your eyebrow?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that was in Oxford, England, in 1989. That scar is older than you."
Wow.
Thank you for your anyway.
Yes.
But that's you get older and wiser. You collect your scars. You collect your life experience. And so wait, back to Joe Biden. Like, fine. Jokes aside, one thing I noticed that I think he did with this whole debt ceiling, which is going to be a regular, shock to the financial system now, fine. But he did manage to, like, politically, strategically, I think he managed to divide the opposition, basically. So, say what you want.
The British press were just saying, well, why should we get busy about it? Because it's like the 42nd time or something that the Americans gone through the ceiling, Who cares?
You also know there's the 14th Amendment, which basically says that the president could be like, F you, Congress, we're just going to raise the debt ceiling. There's nothing you can do because the founding fathers wrote that we will always pay our bills.
Yeah.
So, which is, I think, one of the reasons that when the BRIC countries are trying to have their own strong currency and they're doing it, everyone's like, yeah, but Americans can always pay their bills.
Yes. Brazil, Russia, India, China, right?
Yes. So, there you go.
So why did they have to go to Congress then?
It's for show. So they go to because they were trying to show we have a democracy, and they're trying to show that we're not a dictatorship, even though they're the 14th Amendment, and they're trying to play nice with, if you will, the Republicans and Democrats, saying, "Listen, we need your help to keep America going properly." And where like somebody like Trump would be like, screw you, I have the 14th Amendment, and he would just raise the debt ceiling, right? So I think that's the difference is they're trying to keep democracy here, and other people would be more like, Zing Heil, and you're going to do what I say.
Maybe it's because Joe Biden's got a stutter that he wasn't able to, be clear about the fact that he wanted to do it himself. That's the reason why he's so slow with his speeches. That's why you can hear that he's a terrible
role. Maybe.
Yeah.
But indeed, it's like, the kid with the stutter finally beat the bully. And Joe Biden did beat the stutter. So I don't know. Good for him.
He did beat Trump. So, some people say Trump's a bully.
Oh. That was,
That's not.
I was quoting a meme, I believe. The kid with the stutter finally beat the bully back in 2020. But anyway, are we going far enough, fast enough? So, I mean, I think we've agreed that in America, fine. The the MAGA Republicans, the crazies, are frustrated, but so are the progressives. On the Democratic side, thinking that we're not going green enough, fast enough, and and sometimes it's maddening indeed when the Biden White House okays a new drilling project in Alaska.
I know, right? But we're going to go green.
but anyway, are we? I mean, I know that Europe seems to be jealous of the climate initiatives that Biden is now apparently putting into place.
The financial side of it, you mean, offering all that money?
Subsidies.
Green subsidies, yeah.
I mean, not only subsidies in America, that's tax cuts, subsidies, but now they're actually calling them subsidies, so that's a change.
Yeah. Well, I think what it
potato.
It has sucked a lot of companies out of Europe and pulled them towards the US. Certainly for the R&D side of it.
Yeah. Well, so I mean, I brought a couple of things today. I'm hearing about. I'm collecting examples of climate good news because even if 90% of climate news is bad, if you ignore the 10% that's good, you'll go 100% crazy. And I'm actually performing an hour show.
Wow.
Called Greg Schapiro Saves the Climate. Why not? Go big or go
there
home.
You go.
Yeah.
So
that's right.
On the 17th,
Wednesday, where will it be? The 17th and where?
17th of June in the city of Utrecht, in the center
to Utrecht again.
Of the Netherlands. Yeah.
Utrecht is great. We have a big following there. I think the whole population of 7. They're very big on they like our whole show. So
it's a very, very liberal. It's a bit like Amsterdam. It's very liberal. Very
Utrecht, for example, they've recently unleashed. The largest bike parking garage in the world.
Really?
That's right.
Yeah, they got ramps and stuff in there. It feels like a roller coaster for your bike. It's
awesome. Oh my god, that's
it's
awesome.
A big parking garage. They make it
I
fun.
like that.
It's right next to
only in Holland do people get horny about parking their bike. You know what I mean?
Don't stop, David. Stop.
Oh, I know. And there's probably, Stephen, it's so sophisticated that you can also you can also ride in with your umbrella at the same time. So there's enough head height. It's brilliant. Because you have to ride a bike and hold an umbrella. If not, you don't count.
Seriously?
I mean, life hack. The funny thing about the rain in the Netherlands is it's not coming from where you expect. It's coming right.
Oh, okay. Comes from the side.
Oh, yeah. That's the big debate, Greg. Did you hear that yesterday?
Yeah.
The big debate is, why are we having so much north wind from the north? Did you hear that?
Yeah. Yeah, it's been unseasonably chilly. And the wind's
coming from the north.
For the past, we don't know. Yeah. Is it a Russian conspiracy or something?
Cool. No, I love a good Russian conspiracy.
We should not be concerned because it happens every 10 to 15 years that the wind comes from the north.
Right.
That's now official.
No, that is good. And again, the past month has been very dry, but then they said the whole springtime was actually more precipitation than we're used to. Even so, right here in Amsterdam, we have had the foresight. The neighbors are like, we should get a rain barrel to collect our rainwater on the front of the house.
That's modern.
We got one.
So modern.
You can get a subsidy from the city to get a rain barrel, collect your rainwater, and now we have one. And I'm looking across the street from our house, and there's a pretty big canal. So I don't think we're going to be short on water. I mean, what are we supposed to do with this water for, the plants, the garden, maybe flushing the toilet if necessary.
Yeah.
If we really
shower? Could you shower with the rainwater, or is it too dirty?
I think, honestly, I don't know. Maybe you could put it just in a filter and.
Yeah, my grandmother had a water butt. It was called then. Don't know what it's called, a water butt. A water butt. And she used to put a stocking on the end of it to use as a filter, and she washed her hair in this rainwater her whole life. Yeah, and swore by it. So
I think I read that the Nike headquarters, which is near Utrecht, they had a green roof system installed so that the toilets would then flush with rainwater collected from the roof. And then people complained that there were twigs and leaves in the toilet because it was from the rainwater. And so I think they had to go back to drinking water to flush the toilets.
Didn't they just say just do it and have done with it?
Just do it.
Just do it.
Anyway.
So what do we have in climate good news? Because
on the good news front, I have a couple of categories, actually. Cool. I mean, there's alternative energies. And then there's actual new technologies to decarbonize, right? So there's uncarbonize, and then decarbonize. Uncarbonize is already happening, so that's quite good,
Is that when you don't have any bubbles in your drink? Is that decarbonize?
That is a little bit like that. So wait, I was going to stick to just Dutch examples for today because I'm, living in the Netherlands. But that is another one I just read in Washington Post, and it's carbon dioxide from beer breweries.
Right.
So this is, I think, somewhere down in Austin, Texas, but right.
Yeah.
I think they figured out a way that it's in brewing the yeast and brewing beer, you do release some carbon, right? And so you could capture that and then use that to carbonate and then you don't have to import. Anyway, they were like, well, it'd be expensive to capture all that carbon, and it's not all that much, but it is just enough so then we don't need to. Anyway, it's circular economy.
Right.
So their investment is already paying itself off because they don't need to import bubbles anymore. Yeah.
Well, if we don't need to import Bubbles, yes. Yeah, right? I know Bubbles. She's a wonderful person. So,
is that the same sort of nonsense as giving these? Well, they're doing it in the UK now. They're giving cows these special tablets so they don't fart as much.
Seaweed, I think. Yeah,
Seaweed.
that's something they were pioneering in the Netherlands as well. Yeah. All right, I found that link for breweries about the beer. Yeah, seaweed in the cattle feed. That is true. Apparently, it makes them healthier and stops them from burping, and that's where most of the thing comes from. How about that? Then again,
but I mean, you would have thought actually, with all that cattle in Texas, that they could have recycled all the cow burps and used that to carbonate the beer. And hey, I'm thinking out of the box here.
Yes.
Oh, you're thinking out of the box, pal. So,
are these? Yeah, is there something fun? Yeah, capture cow burps and into your beer.
Craig's like, this is really good. Let me write this down.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That'll be on the show on the 17th, by the way. So
yes, I've got some good stuff going there. Anyway, but that beefy burps into your beer.
I like that. The worst thing that I hear about the good news and the bad news.
Sorry, Stephen, but that would make a great name for a beer, wouldn't it? Beefy burps.
It would not be plant-based though.
Burpy beer.
Why would it not be plant-based then?
Because you're using animal products.
But they eat plants.
So technically it wouldn't be vegan. It wouldn't be vegan.
Oh my God.
Plant-based, vegan, exactly. Yeah, no, it wouldn't be. Okay, non-vegan.
Okay, all right.
Wow.
Well, sorry. Here's carbon, not like anti-carbon news. So the Rotterdam Zoo, the Leidorp Zoo in Rotterdam, they announced that at their snack bars for the past months, they have been serving vegan croquettes at their snack bar. Yeah. So, croquettes, these meats.
Yeah, that's an oxymoron, by the way, but there you go.
And anyway, but vegan croquettes, and most people did not notice. That was the headline.
Wow.
Yeah, but I was like, so that's the good news. Most people did not notice. Bad news, some people did notice. And I wonder what this zoo had as a backup plan. Like, pick any zoo animal. We will kill it and grind it up for you. And lemur maybe looking tasty. But anyway, if you can't make a decision, then they will probably decide for you horse meat, I think. Because
that goes in the freaking dells, so that's all right.
Exactly. What do you think is going into these things already? Yeah, you thought there was no horse meat in there? Nay.
Only if you go to IKEA. Only if you eat IKEA meatballs. There's your horse meat. Right?
And I have to tell you, meatballs. They got Vikings in them. Got Vikings.
We used to eat IKEA meatballs. We used to buy like the big 5-pound bag and their sauce and whatever. I loved it. The meatballs because they put crack cocaine in it. It's delicious. And then when they said they made it with horse and human products, I was like, I don't need it anymore. Yeah. Once you start cooking humans and horses together, that's where I draw the line. Either or, but you can't do both. And I was like, that's it.
So that's one I did kind of have a joke for, but anyway, this time, what else have we got? So there's this thing called CDR, which I believe is carbon direct removal.
Okay.
It's CCR, right?
PCR, it's a video recorder.
CCR was what? Creedence Clearwater Revival.
Revival, right? I was going to say that's a rock group.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are they now climate activists? Is that what the news is?
Yes.
They're pushing up daisies. They're helping the oxygen.
In which case it'd be like wouldn't be a Clearwater revival, it'd be like Muddy Water Revival.
There we go.
Muddy Water Revival.
Well, we used to have dirty all water, and then now we don't. I want to know if you ever seen the rain. We used to have acid rain.
Yeah.
And now we don't because we fixed it. The American president said no more acid rain, and they, I think, they fixed it. And that was back in the 90s. Oh, that must have been Clinton. No, that was George Bush Sr.
Yeah.
It's the Republicans.
What did they do with all the acid then? Was that a byproduct?
The acid they gave to Bill Clinton.
Yeah, I was going to say, Bill's been taking acid for years.
I've never ingested.
I did not have sex with that woman. You did.
Not that I can remember.
That's right.
But so CDR, carbon direct removal. So there are. So this is like a whole new bunch of startups and technologies that I think are just like ready for growth, in the US or maybe in Europe. I know there are startups. So there's like, there's the offset, that bullshit sort of technology that has now been largely debunked. We're going to plant a bunch of trees. That's like one technology that they're talking about. But there's also like hoovering the atmosphere. There's this new thing, which is called DAC, direct air capture. And I know there's a Dutch startup from Eindhoven called Carbion. And they are just talking about like, well, I mean, we have vacuum cleaners. We know where the carbon emissions are. So why don't we just build a big enough vacuum cleaner and aim it at where we know these CO2 molecules are, and then they just need to, I guess, scale it up.
Did they have to go to university for that? Do you think?
Apparently, that's my job, is to dumb it down so people can understand it. I've worked with these people, like after their dissertations. And then they want to form a startup company, and there's a reason they call it defending your dissertation. These guys are so defensive. Like, I mean, I wouldn't call it like a big vacuum cleaner. It's more complicated than that. No, we're talking to the average 2 old farts listeners. We need to dumb it down.
That's right.
And now my light just went out talking about energy.
Yeah, it's a revenge. It's revenge now. Climate revenge.
Put on my backup. Anyway, it's got very dark. Shapiro got very dark there for a minute.
There you go.
But so, I think they just got a startup money. They just got a big grant or a big cash influx from, and I'm thinking like, oh, who's the big vacuum company?
Hoover, Electrolux,
is it
Dyson?
It's Dyson. Is it the
Dyson.
Brexit guy?
Yeah.
See, but you won't need they won't need a bag, you see, so they're going to save all that money.
Exactly.
There's no bag.
I never thought of
It's
that.
even worse than James Dyson, by the way. It's Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Oh my God! God. Okay, we're all screwed.
Are they going to vacuum all this stuff out of the air then?
Apparently, there's enough of a resale market. Yes, they're saying that they're already, like, I think it was Bloomberg or Forbes. They're crunching the numbers and figuring that if you can produce enough like residue, CO2, and collect it on a big enough, then you can resell the carbon for, instead of Cowberks for your beer, or they can, now they're talking about, using carbon, for other industrial purposes. I know, like, cement or whatever, it can.
So we got a choice then between beef burp beer or Musk burp beer.
I'm going with beef.
Yeah.
You're going with the Musk burp beer?
No, I'm going with the beef. I'm going with the beef. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of Elon Musk. Sorry. I've never been a fan of
beef.
him.
You got beef with him, have you? That's what you're trying to say.
I got a beef with him. Yeah, there you go.
I see what he did
there.
And there's another technology, by the way, that's there's another form of carbon removal, which is apparently in water. They're at MIT. This is not the Netherlands, but I think it's from MIT. They said that you can take water and like electrolyze the ocean water to remove to remove the carbon out of it. So you basically, I think, sink it.
Well, that's good, because you want to kill everything on the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah, right.
That's going to work.
Acidification of the ocean.
How can you sink the water?
No, you're going to sink the carbon in the water.
Because the ocean is a carbon sink, right? I mean, what do they call it? Like a carbon sponge. The ocean
it soaks up the carbon. Yeah. So they want to take the carbon that's, if you will, I guess the first 10 meters, and they want to put it down like 10,000 meters. So all the whatever's living down there at some point is going to come up and go, enough's enough.
Yeah.
So
someday we'll have a new kind of Godzilla premise.
I'm hoping. I'm certainly hoping, because I'm waiting for Godzilla to come out of the ocean. I don't live in San Francisco, and that's where he always attacks. I'm good. I don't live in Japan, so those two places, it was good.
So we're going to have all these bottom feeders coming to the top then.
Oh yeah,
No, we're not talking about sports agents. We're talking about carbon in the water. So.
Sports agents.
I mean, bottom feeders. I mean, I went to see that show once. It was good.
Oh wait, that reminds me of another one though. Oh, at the bottom of the ocean. There's a Dutch company called Reefy.
Okay.
And they're all about restoring
Are
the
they
coral.
they're dyslexic, I take it.
Reefy? Or
Reefy, man.
reefer.
It's reefy.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Yeah.
Reefy, man. Yeah.
Someone must
Let's
have
suck
been
some.
smoking
Let's
something.
suck some. Let's get a big vacuum cleaner and suck stuff out of the air. Oh yeah, man.
What if we just had like a really big... Yeah, man.
Oh yes, I see that too, man. Yeah. Sorry.
There's nothing like a good suck. Anyway, so you got all this good climate news. The nice thing about the climate and all the new technology.
Stephen, I interrupted him about the reefy. We was going to talk about the reefy.
Oh yeah, sorry. Oh yeah. No,
sorry.
There's apparently like a lot of research that went into what structure would you make to ideally like to drop down into the water to I think into areas where the coral has been bleached or drying or dying.
Right.
Then you can near there you just plonk down these. I think they said it was based on Lego bricks that they figured out.
Sure, Lego can do anything.
Yeah. And then maybe they even make them out of carbon. Anyway, so they just removed carbon. So they drop those down. So every time you've stepped on a Lego brick, now now those will be under the sea and you don't have to worry about it anymore.
That is awesome. This is what I was going to say. What I was going to say is that all this new carbon technology and all this good carbon news and climate news, it's so hysterically funny. I mean, like if you think, I mean, it's good that we're doing stuff. But when you actually listen to it, like we're going to take Legos and do this, we're going to suck carbon out. I mean, it's hysterical. And 10,000 years from now, I'm sure this is going to be great technology. But can you imagine if you told someone 100 years ago, listen, we're going to build a big vacuum cleaner. We're going to suck all this carbon out of the air. They look at you like, you're going to do what and do who? So it'd be like Nikola Tesla and his, free energy tower.
Right.
So, but it's fascinating that we can do all this. But it is kind of funny when they tell you about the technology and you kind of look at them like the RCA dog, like, what? As long as it works.
Like I said, I'm just sitting here imagining there's a whole group of people just got their PhDs or their masters in something incredibly clever, and they said, "Like, please sit down, David. We want to explain this to you." And so what we're going to do is we've got this giant vacuum cleaner, and we're going to suck air out of the sky.
Wait, no, it's even more ridiculous. I just looked it up. Now the way they're going to sink the carbon is with electrical current. They're gonna stick a huge electric cable into the ocean.
Oh my God.
Bad news, it'll kill every living thing in the ocean. But the good
news is there'll be no carbon. Let's go for a swim.
But Greg, does it have to be green? Does it have to be green energy which has produced the electricity? Or can they do? Can it be nuclear energy, or because in which case we just drop a bomb in the ocean and that would have the same effect, wouldn't it?
I guess so. Yeah. Oh yeah. What was the movie where they dropped a bomb in the ocean and all the fish kept popping up to the surface?
That was real life. That was also a movie, but that's a real life thing when they did the experiment. And then if you know the Godzilla legacy, and they dropped the bomb in the ocean. Godzilla was a little lizard or something on an island, and all the radioactiveness then made him grow to be what he was. This mega thing.
Was it a he?
I'm sorry. Excuse me. I think it wants to be identified as a monster. It identified as a monster / movie star. So.
I think it's just sad, Stephen, that you know so much about Godzilla. I mean, what sort of upbringing did you have?
I had a great upbringing. I like to read everything, so you read stuff, and then I actually read the guy who came up
with the newspaper. Were you a funny guy? Like,
yeah,
I got to read the funnies.
But when I was a kid, the funnies were like 50 pages long and thick. Like on Sunday, you would go. It was like that for a kid. That was all day. Yeah. And then they started to get rid of them because it costs money. And then before my mom passed, she would always get the Sunday paper. So one day I was like, I'm gonna go look at the Sunday paper. It was literally one sheet, and I was like, what? Like, where'd they go? And it was like they were gone. So the kids today don't have a clue. You know what I mean? It's like they don't know what they're missing. It's great we have technology, but they still don't. They don't read, but they don't know that's the joy of just sitting there and laughing at stuff. I mean, they watch TikTok or whatever, but it's like you just don't get it. You don't get to think. You don't get to imagine. So, except if you're building a vacuum cleaner to suck air out of it.
In the 70s and the 80s, like Snoopy became a big thing in the UK.
Oh yeah.
and everybody got into that. I mean, what happened to that? Is that then Charlie Brown? Is that still around, that stuff?
Yeah,
or?
Charlie Brown is around. Schultz died, and then he left it to whoever. And then the Charlie Brown comics are still there. They still have come out with, and here in America, they have their Christmas special and their specials.
Okay.
So we still have that. Yeah. So, like Scooby Doo is still a thing. Things like that. Yeah.
I learned so much about life watching Scooby Doo.
Sure, because you had two lesbians, a bisexual, and a guy and a dog. I mean, what's not to learn? So there you go.
Are you trying to tell me something, Stephen, or because I must have missed that on the credits? It just said Scooby Doo, and didn't say anything about all the other things that you referred to.
Oh no, that was just a given.
I think that's quite painful that you should mention that. Because
Scooby wasn't bisexual. Scooby's a dog.
I thought it was painful. I can't watch Scooby Doo the same way anymore.
No, I was just saying, my whole bubble is gone now.
Yeah, well, and HBO just came out with a different version of Scooby Doo. And is I think it's
Scooby.
I haven't seen. No. I think it's there's a black Velma, and they're trying to be more inclusive.
He's a person of color, Velma. I think. Are we a brown Velma?
Black. I think the article that I read, they said when they came out, they had a black Velma, and they were going through, and then somebody else. Somebody was gay, and they went through this whole thing. It was very interesting, but I was like,
"What sort of magazine were you reading?"
I don't know,
isn't that the same with this mermaid thing as well? Now that everybody's talking about the Little Mermaid, that's also
mermaid.
They're going to change
also
it.
A person of color.
Yeah,
it's already out, and
I believe so.
They asked a whole load of kids about it who watched it. I was listening to it on the BBC last weekend.
Yeah,
and they said, "Well, we prefer the cartoon." That was the only comments, the only feedback that they got from the kids. What did you think about the lady, how she was presented and everything? Oh, we like the cartoon.
Yeah.
Here's something interesting. Michelle Rodriguez yesterday, I read this Michelle Rodriguez from the Fast and Furious. And,
actress.
She just did the Dungeons and Dragon movie.
Oh, okay.
I guess TMZ caught her at a wrong time. And she said that there's too many people. And if I get this wrong, you send all your cards and letters.
There's too many people.
There's too many people. There's too many people of color that are trying to change and take roles now from white actors and actresses. I'm thinking, okay, and I think she's Hispanic. I'm like, that's an interesting comment because she says now they're just remaking everything and then putting people of color in. And it's like, and I'm like, I don't really care who plays the part. But then when I see a period piece that goes, let's say, in the 14th century, and, I'm looking at something where literally it was predominantly all white, and all of a sudden one of the lead characters is of color or of this. I'm like, yeah, you can't really be a period piece anymore because we're trying to be so politically incorrect, right? It's kind of like there's an A and a B. So I don't know. I don't really care. When I go watch a movie or a television show, not that I watch television, but if I go to a movie, I go to just it's a mini holiday for 2 hours. Whatever's on the screen is just fun to watch, hopefully. But with the writer's strike, you're a writer. You're not under the writer's strike thing, are you? Or
no. I must say I'm not part of that union, so I'm not living in that market. But a lot of my friends are affected by the writer's strike. Yes, and it's
you're super busy then, Greg.
I'm all the scab work, man. I got the new series of The Diplomat. I got to crank that out. Yeah. No, I'm not.
People in Hollywood are like, "What? He's writing for The Diplomat? He's writing for this? He's writing for that? Stop him!" So, but it's interesting because we use AI. We were talking about this, AI for stuff.
AI,
and I find like the article that we wrote about Two Old Farts.
Yeah.
We wrote it out and we stuck it in AI and said make it whatever, and it did. And I'm like, okay, so I understand their point to a point. But then there's another side of me. If I'm a studio head, and now the SAG people are arguing over AI rights over your likeness, like they're going to go on strike, I think, the end of this month or next month if they can't come up with terms. And I'm thinking, if I'm a studio head, Michael Eisner said it best. I don't have to pay, when he did Lion King, he said, I don't have to pay cartoons residuals.
Right.
And I'm thinking, man, if I could come up with it, and I'm sure that it's out there, that AI I can give it a premise of a script.
Yeah.
Bring me artificial intelligence as my acting and make it a car chase scene or wherever. And I pay nobody except the 5 people that sit there and go, typey, 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 typey. I'm like, are you kidding? All day long.
you know what? I'll take it back to climate. Every time I see an explosion in one of these, shows, sometimes the streaming shows where the budget is not that great, and you'll see an explosion, you'll be like, that looked fake. Part of me is like, oh, thank goodness. No carbon was released in the production of this.
This film, not like what was it, Tropic Thunder, where they blew up the whole field, jungle, and it was sort of like, oh yeah, there's some carbon there. So,
but on a more serious point, Greg, if it's possible in a show called Funny Ha Ha, but what about this whole AI thing? Is that going to steal your sound?
What was the headline? I'll look it up quickly. The AI drone. First thing it did was kill its operator in a simulation. But I don't know.
It may do that. So it may do the same to comedians then.
Comedians. I killed.
literally and figuratively, my friend.
Yeah.
The first ever AI comedian killed.
Has he ever died on stage?
I killed. Mission
we love it. Nice. Well, Greg, thank you so much.
In which case, everyone else gets killed.
Thank you so much for your time today, my friend. It's always a pleasure to see you.
Thank you. And I'm going to send you, Stephen, I'm going to send you this Boston Consulting Group. Piece about DAC, direct air capture. And they're talking about how, they could bring it, they need to, but it's possible, we could be removing 10 billion tons of CO2 per year. And then the cost of reselling it is enough to start paying for the thing. So
cool. Well, we'll put that link below so people can actually read it as well. That'll be awesome. We appreciate it.
And also, Greg, just in the chat, put the gig details as well.
Yes, we'll do
as part of the show.
Yeah. All right. And everybody have a wonderful day. Don't forget to subscribe and like. And if you're in the Netherlands, go see Mr. Schapiro. He's a very funny man. And if not, he will be back next month with good climate news and a whole bunch of other stuff that I'm sure we'll find topical. And that's it. Guys, always a pleasure. We'll see everyone next month. Cheers.
Thank you. Bye.
That's right. Eat that tuna.